good day to all of you, and thank you for being here and joining us. I'll be talking about mainly video telematics, but the context in which I want you to see this is how connected services are here to stay, and even in India, and what this means to all of us. So this is about monetizing the connected truck while delivering solid value to customers. So all of you have heard about the SaaS industry and how great SaaS industry is. And connected trucks have brought SaaS to commercial vehicles, right? And it's a great opportunity for all of us when you talk about accelerating your own businesses while delivering value. That is the mantra. And if you see this figure here, it talks about how the revenue is going to transition for most companies from a hardware-centric business to a services-centric business. So what was about, like maybe half in 2019 is going to end up becoming something like 80% software and services, right? Think of all OEMs becoming like Apple in an era where the truck itself is a connected device and it is delivered as a service, right? So 22% of Apple's revenues come from services, which is humongous. That could be the same in trucking as well, right? And the reason why people want this is we are now becoming outcome-centric than being feature-centric. If you look at the vehicle some years back, you talk about features, and what you bought would be what you have for the lifetime of the vehicle, right? With services, that whole thing changes. With over-the-air updates and the value you deliver, it continuously gets refined. So, you get more value as you go further. It's like installing an app on your phone, essentially. Okay, so this is, video telematics is one of those services which potentially has an opportunity to be a, game changer for everybody. And we don't encounter these moments very frequently where everybody can benefit, right? The technology provider, the OE, the user, the fleet, everybody can benefit from this, right? And this figure is from the earnings report of a very large telematics company in the US, right? And what you will see in this is that more than 50% of their revenue of $550 million is from video telematics alone. So video-based safety, they're actually making more money from it than just vehicle telematics, right? That's the potential of video telematics when it comes to your organizations and how it can transform you from a connected services point of view. And the fact that it is doing so well should also convince you about the value of what video brings to users, right? Now, this is in the US, of course, it's all great, right? What about India, right? Can we bring technology to India blindly, right? We should desist from doing it wherever possible. There are, of course, technologies like ABS and others which can be blindly copied, I guess. But when it comes to human-centric services like video telematics, which is very, very driver-focused, you have to look at Indian needs. And, you don't need to change a lot. It's just the technology can remain the same, the hardware remains the same, but how you position the service matters. For example, I'll give you the example of face recognition. So in the US, we use face recognition as driver ID. It's a backup driver ID, right? In India, when we spoke to fleets here, they wanted it to detect unauthorized driving. They did not care so much about driver ID, but they said, if my driver is not driving, I want to know. Because they said they have some obligations to their customers that this driver will drive your truck, and they had some reasons to suspect that it was not the case. So video here, they want it more as a surveillance tool, right? For example, they have geofencing. So whenever a vehicle makes makes unscheduled stop, or it breaks a geofence it should not, they want to know what's happening in the truck then and there. Live streaming is a big use case. In US, live streaming is frowned upon. It is seen as a gross violation of privacy. But Indian fleets love it, right? And they can't seem to have enough of live streaming. So it is not so much the technology itself, it's just how you, make subtle adjustments to the offering. And the other thing is, in the US market, for example, ADAS features are very prized, things like auto emergency braking. But in India, people are more focused about what the driver is doing. They want to know if the driver uses the phone all the time, right? And they are constantly concerned, in US as well, that drivers are not getting enough rest, right? Because when it's all good for you to enforce that 8 hours sleep you should do, right? But we all, most of us at least, I do, use the phone when you're sleeping and you keep browsing, keep watching some videos. So 8 hours rest is good, but did it achieve the purpose? So this is where, I was talking to somebody else earlier. Regulations have to also be outcome focused, right? Sometimes regulations don't actually achieve what you intended to. So people are more concerned about knowing if there are instances of fatigue, signs of fatigue that a driver is displaying, because you don't want to get into an accident and it can cost you a lot, right? And finally, if you are in an unfortunate accident, video tells you like it happened, right? In a case where you are faced with all sorts of uncertainties, people can come and narrate all sorts of stories, and unfortunately the big vehicle always gets blamed in India, right? It's a two-wheeler and a car, it's the car who's to blame. If it's a truck and a car, it's the truck, of course, who's to be blamed. Video can save you, right? It can really save you. As insurance payouts and all those become big, this will become a huge factor in India. So the question then is, why video telematics? We answered now. Why now, right? So the thing is, fleets are becoming more professionally run in India. There are more medium to large size fleets. And even the smaller fleets have an aspiration to be professionally run, right? Use the latest technology. Because as it is, logistics is a business where you have to manage, spend very carefully. So anything and everything in terms of efficiencies, you have to pay attention. And as it so happens, driver happens to be a central part of all of it. So anything you can do to help the driver, to help efficiency that way, makes a lot of sense, right? And then your shippers are demanding service, right? When you have like MNCs, new age startups, logistics companies who demand the best from you in terms of compliances, visibility, safety, right? As a fleet, you are forced to comply with some of those demands. And earlier in the panel discussion at 10:30, they were talking about the cost of logistics as a percentage of GDP being a key metric of an economy, right? And unfortunately, in India, we still are in a very bad place. Something like 15% is what, if I remember right, and the goal is supposed to be go to 10%. And a key part of this cost comes from accidents, right? Bad accidents, right? So and the societal damage it does beyond just the truck is so much, right? Families and whatnot. So you want to reduce accidents. Accidents don't happen overnight. It happens because of bad habits that get rooted. So video telematics helps you stay on top of it. It alerts you when there are instances of a driver being sleepy so that you can intervene and fix that issue, right? And then, there is the regulatory push, right? There are the AIS standards around forward collision, lane departure systems and all that. And this just lends itself very, very nicely into it. And finally, the world-class infrastructure that is happening. I'm from Bangalore, and we recently opened the Bangalore-Mysore road. And it's actually scary to go there, to be honest, right? The way people drive, I don't think we as a society yet know how to drive in a place where the speed limits are crazy, right? The speed limit is 120 there, but people think it's okay to go at 180, right? With no lane discipline whatsoever. So, unfortunately, I feel we will see more accidents before it reduces, and safety becomes even more important. See, the thing is, right, truck drivers usually are very safe, but what about all the people around the truck, right? And trucks, unfortunately, cannot, they have the weight they are carrying means that they can't maneuver the way a small vehicle can maneuver, right? So trucks have to be doubly careful because of that. Not just because of their mistakes, but because of others' mistakes as well. So we have been, we started 8 years back and we focused mostly on the Western market, but last 1.5 years have been crazy in India. We've been seeing unprecedented growth in India for our video telematics business. And from our learnings, we have seen, no surprises, speeding is the biggest problem. And speeding makes everything worse, right? Every small accident can become a big accident if you were speeding, right? And the other thing, again, no surprises, is distraction due to cell phone. The thing is, driving can sometimes be a very, very monotonous job, which means that drivers are looking at their phone, looking at a video or something like that, right? So how we handle this is like almost a social problem, to be honest. But you need to know. We provide fleet the visibility. Then we come to question of how we handle this, right? And given that Indian fleets, understandably and rightfully, are very, very ROI-centric, right? They don't care about your feature. They care about what's in it for them, right? And that's the right way to look at it. Where we saw something very interesting. So this plot is the number of risky driving events per 100 kilometers. And you see that it was somewhat stable, started gradually increasing, at which point we switched on in-cabin coaching. In-cabin coaching is basically giving alerts, beeps at risky moments, right? And we enabled alerts only for 2 risky behaviors. One is speeding, one is distracted driving. And we were so happy to see this drop, right? So it's not that drivers are habitually bad, right? I mean, they are professionals, and as all professionals, just like us, they want to get better. You need to provide them with the tools, the right messaging for them to get better, right? So that was all this was. And, now we are seeing this, and this particular fleet is now totally convinced, right? They're a fleet with about 120 trucks, and they have like rolled us out fleet-wide now. So because of these kind of things, Indian businesses are now realizing that they need to pay attention to safety, and safety is not just some societal, nice-to-talk mumbo-jumbo. Safety has economic impact, and that is what in India we are realizing now, and we are seeing double-digit month-on-month growth in India, which is terrific for us and terrific for India, actually. And terrific for all of us gathered here who are interested in connected services. So when you talk about the opportunities here, to start with, it looks like safety. But if you looked at just safety with video telematics, it is like looking at the tip of the iceberg, right? What you should really look at is that it can double your subscription revenue, practically, based on what we have seen in other markets. And then there are all these benefits where you can protect your fleet from reputational harm, you can protect it from unsubstantiated payouts that you may need to make. You can basically reduce accidents, right, in your fleet. And that has benefits all around, including uptime and all of those. So we are LightMetrics, and we help you monetize the connected truck with video telematics. And we are probably one of the only companies to have a no-code video telematics approach. You can integrate us with not writing a single line of code, and you could have video telematics offered to your fleet customers. We work primarily with integrators, that is value-added resellers like telematics companies and OEMs. We don't work with fleets directly ourselves, right? But we make it really, really easy for your business to offer video telematics to your fleet customers. So we have a booth here in A3. Please do visit us if you want to learn more. Thank you very much.